Hello there, this is Photius, and welcome back to Grim Dawn. We're again continuing with our Vitality caster here, still using the Knife Attack Phantasmal Blades, and we are going for some of the final things we need to get through here. We're going to pop back to Rotting Croplands, and we are going to head through to destroy the bugs and their queen, and then head to the Ethereal Amalgamation. This quest right here, to end their reign of terror. Not exactly, but just take care of them, and then we are going to be able to finally join the Chosen of Timing to head into using Bone Harvest. Just finally. I picked up those pieces real quick. That armor and those helmets are pretty good. Any items with this little diamond mark on them, those are known as monster infrequent items. So I'm looking for ones that have good resistances on them to ideally replace my helmet. These can be relied on to have fairly good stats at this point in the game. And the armor often will have chaos resistance, as you see this one has pierce, chaos, bleeding, so that's a pretty good candidate there. It's elemental damage though, which is not terribly helpful, but you don't really care about that this early. This one actually has 9% energy and good offensive ability on it, so that's definitely a good option. We don't get much else from it though. Good resistances. Okay, we're not going to hang out here too long. I was just seeing if there's anything useful here. Now, we're doing plenty of damage, so that's nice. Oh, this guy reflects. A little bit more careful. Gotta clear out everybody else first before I worry about him. And I'm kind of on a hill, so I have to make sure my attacks are actually hitting targets. Tear him up before he reflects too much on me. And I dropped some Vile Scorned Leg Plates. Those have some good Vitality resist, but not much else. I felt like I already had those. I do. I got some here. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. Pauldrons, these might be okay for us. They're alright. I'm still kind of keeping an eye out. My gear is going to start falling behind if I'm not careful. So, I have on. Now, if you saw, as I walked through that green lightning stuff there, that is, like, in-game, that's supposed to be, like, this patch of aether that is tearing me up as I stand on it. Really, it is a damage area, and it does percentage hit point damage. So if I stand here, I'm just going to take damage from this. I can heal it back, but it's just going to take damage away, and it doesn't care about my aether resist. It's not actually dealing damage, it's just essentially reducing my life. I'm not sure if anything really reduces that. Regen helps, because that's something that'll kind of force your hit points back up while you're losing that damage. So if you're regenning a whole bunch, you can pretty much stand in that stuff. That is actually important to a secret quest within the game. There's a place you have to stand in some pretty intense percentage damage, but if you have the right skills and abilities, you can stand there for about 10 seconds pretty easily, and after you do, it opens up, it gives you an item that helps open up the secret quest and allow you to complete it. So it is important to that. There's a few other little interesting things like that in the game, but a few other secret quests actually. Alright, we are heading in here. I'm just kind of clearing enemies around it. Why not? Alright. So this is where these bugs kind of come from, and their queen's in here, so part of our mission is to kill the queen. Now, we haven't actually gotten this quest, I don't think. No, we haven't. But that's okay. Again, Grim Dawn's very chill about how quests work. If you complete the objective and go back, they're going to be like, hey, can you go kill the queen for us? And you'll be like, I already did that. And they, oh, yeah, great, fantastic. And they give you the same quest reward for it, so you can just do it while you're out here. So we're going to kill the queen. Then we're going to head straight for the amalgamation. Get rid of him, too. And then I can turn all that in at once. And that kind of speeds up the process a little bit without having to, backtrack, and kind of keeps this moving. So that's nice. But that means I do have to kill a couple mini bosses in here if I'm going to do that. And there's one other little, more or less secret area I want to go to. This is actually one of the mini bosses we need to kill. I think he buffs the speed of these guys. Either that or it's the dude behind him. Ooh, burning through energy rapidly. So, mindful about that. So he's trying to chase and slap me around. We're just going to shotgun with our abilities here. He summons more of these little guys. They are not a problem though. You see our piercing blades just go straight through them. Part of why that's so important for this particular skill. And there you go. Alright. Drops this pheromone blade, so we're going to need that. And he dropped a couple other things. Offhand doesn't help. The Durpron Slicers can be good, especially for a Nightblade build, but that'd be more if you're going the dual wield, like attack style. It's pretty solid for that. Those are good items to get you started in that path before you get like the really good stuff down the line to help it out. We have a bunch of points available. At this point, we're going to hold those. Not going to use them for anything. Seems weird. We would be stronger with them, but we're burning energy super fast. We do enough damage. Not a lot. Not as much as I'd like to do, but more than enough, really. We'll probably gain at least one more level in this process, maybe two. From the quest, probably two. Now I think of it. Is this the other one? No, that's a different one. So, just don't get surrounded too bad by these guys. Late game, these guys are kind of a joke, to be real honest. At this point in the game, they can be somewhat dangerous if you let them surround you. They're not really not that bad. But see, they drop these slicers quite often, so it's really easy to gear up if you're going like dual wield. It's a decent little I think they're mostly piercing weapons. Easy to gear up, and this place is has good packs of enemies for like how you're going through it, so you can level decently in it. And they drop enough of those that if you try to farm it, it's not too bad. But I'm still trying to just get through this pack that keeps coming around the corner. Alright, there we go. There's our other Grand Vizier? What do we call him? He's the other one. I think he might be resisting a little bit of what I do, so I might need to get closer to him. See, he stunned me a little bit there. Yeah, closer seems to have helped a lot. Right now, my life steal is carrying me. You see how fast my life is going back up? Yeah. And we get the other Pheromone Gland. This allows us to go fight the Queen. We're not going to go straight for the Queen. That's a nice slicer because it's got some elemental seal on it, but you're kind of splitting between piercing and elemental, so that's a little iffy. Early game, it's fine. Any damage is good damage. So up here's the Queen. Clicking this, we use the glands to kind of get through there, but we're not going there just yet. Actually past where I need to go. So we're going to hop back. We did get our level. We are going to get a devotion shrine that's over here. And again, if you're not sure like why you really want the devotion shrines, they give you like stats that you need, and they can give you little like on-hit abilities that you connect the skills, and you can get some like decent little additional burst out of them. So they can be pretty handy. So we're going to go in here. So this is like more or less a little like kind of, oh my gosh, okay. That's another thing, you gotta watch little bumps and walls in front of you with skills like this. Wasted a bunch of energy firing into a wall I couldn't see because it was technically right there. It's one of these things, I'll show you. Get rid of him. So if I go up to this and I cast, oh look, it all got absorbed by that little rock on the ground. That's why I said before something about like doors and trees being the most powerful things in Grim Dawn, because you can't fire lightning bolts through them, can't fire blades that'll annihilate these, monstrous insects. Yeah, this doesn't help you there. Alright, get past these guys. And I'm gonna check one thing while I'm in here. There was a rock in the way, so I kinda have to go down here. they just like kind of piecemeal come in one at a time. It's just the way you aggro them at times. That's good. So this chest can sometimes appear here. I think there's another location in this room. And there's another place that goes down. I think that chest can be spawning there too if it's not here. So Runforged Chest Guard doesn't help us too much. The Aether Resist is kind of nice, but all the other stats are kind of nothing special. What's our armor giving us? Elemental. We are really good on Elemental. We actually could sacrifice that. So at this point, it might be worthwhile to consider using something different. This armor is a really good candidate for that. Does this armor have energy? It's got a bonus to energy, yeah. Okay. I grab this. I don't think I'm going to use it, though. And where we're going, there's this wall here. We can bust that open. There's a couple things, like a body over here to check. A couple of those little, like, egg sacs to check. But you're going down here. Now, these guys, I believe some of them also can drop the weapon we're looking for. So we may get lucky, but there's a lot less of them in here. Well, that's a bone slicer. Okay, we get a little packed in here. These guys are a dangerous domain. Or we're within a dangerous domain. These guys also resist the vitality damage, especially these guys. These are vitality casters. And that is not what we're looking for, but an interesting kind of weapon. That's basically the other weapon they drop. So, for example, this is the one we want. You know, this has the Bone Harvest. This one has, like, Judgment and other things on it. It's more about bleeding. This one's Vitality, bleeding. It has some bleeding on it just because that tends to tie to Vitality. But you can see that they're, like, different images. You can make them look like each other later. But we need the bone sides, not the bone slicers. So I kind of got lucky, unlucky on that drop. It was, like, unlikely to drop either one of them, but we got the one we didn't want. Alright, so my vitality resist is not very high, so these guys are tearing me up a little bit. That's one resist that doesn't come up too much really early on. It comes up a lot more often later. Just kind of as you go. There's a guy up here. He is a play on Golem from Lord of the Rings. He has a decent little ring you can get. Ow. Hey, you're not supposed to do that much damage, dude. I'm gonna take him for a second. Okay, we're gonna hit this. Just tank for a moment. Get our energy back up. Fall back. He has a lot of life. Through this early, considering my damage is awful. It's not awful. My damage is okay. It's just, I think he resists vitality. I'm reducing his resistance, but it doesn't seem to be quite enough. Oh, and I just noticed he's 6 levels higher than us. If you see on the bar up ahead, or up top, not ahead. He's 6 levels higher than us, so he's gonna do, like, he's basically going to have more defenses and OA, offensive ability, in comparison to us. Like, just better baselines. Which means it's harder for me to hit him, it's easier for him to hit me, and he's going to do more damage and such. Crit more often. So this has good attack speed and stuff. I'm going to take it just because it picks up 1 slot, I can sell it, but that's not a very good one. That doesn't help me. These guys are no fun, because they're going to explode in huge poison clouds. Alright, kick around them. Now, there's a Devotion Shrine in the corner. I gotta be really careful. Codex Reckoning, that's a fun little book. It's like a Soldier Oathkeeper book for physical casters. Such a weird thing. But physical casting does work. Strangely, Force Wave is considered physical casting, but it wouldn't work with that book. You have to use a shield or a two-hander for Force Wave, which is an excellent skill. But there are various things, like there's a dagger you can eventually get that you can shoot a bone spear from, very similar to like kind of the necromancer bone spear from Diablo 2. It's like an item skill, but it is a physical spell, so it's kind of cool that you can get stuff like that, and you can convert pretty much any spell to physical damage if you know what to grab. Now this is going to drop a bunch of enemies. I got to get out of here as soon as I hit this. It's basically a hyped up version of that other one down in a similar cave that had bugs and spiders and stuff in it. But these guys are higher level, and again, we're in a dangerous domain, which gives them Aether Ward. So they're doing like bonus Aether damage. That's also why they're hitting hard. I didn't think about that. What did I just do? Okay. I think I picked up something. The Aether at 54% resist, but Vitality at this. So if something does these two resistances, Chaos 2, then I'm going to take a lot of, damage I shouldn't be taking. Because to me it seems simple. You're like, oh, you're only, 26% off? 80% for Aether? How much more could it do? Well, every 20% you're down in one of those resists, you're basically taking another chunk of damage. Because, normally you're taking 20% of the damage dealt. But if you're at 60% resist instead of 80, you're taking 40%. That's effectively double the damage you're taking from that. So if it's balanced around 80% resist, you do not want to be taking double damage from things, right? So we are going to pick up some things. Those gloves, I don't really want to give up Chaos resist right now. I'm about to start hitting a heavier part of the game for Chaos. But the Devotion is real nice here because we can get our next point, which is 20 Spirit and 300 health. Big helpful. The Spirit will give me more energy to work with, more energy regen. Health will just make me a little tougher. So, super handy. And unfortunately, we did not get what we wanted otherwise, but that's fine. We may go look for that, soon. So I'm heading back out of here. I'm going to go kill the queen now. I got to be a little careful with the queen. Not because I don't have the right resistances. I believe she does a ton of physical damage with her meteors just drop. They're not meteors. It's supposed to be she's shaking the cave and dropping rocks from the ceiling. But I believe it's a lot of physical damage those things deal. And then she also does a bunch of poison all over the place. I don't remember if she sunders, because I try to stay away from her. Her meteors from the ceiling may sunder. But you want to clear out her babies, which is all of these things are technically her babies. Clear them out, clear some of these out, just so you don't accidentally spawn things on top of yourself. Little bugs, just clear them all. Little creatures can spawn from those eggs, so just clear them out. Now she's spawning things too. She does that as well. See, I have that on 3 right by E, which I'm using for energy all the time right now. So that's me making a mistake here. I may want to swap that, but, muscle memory is kind of a pain. So you want to shoot her. Well, not taking too many of those things. Certainly not standing in the green stuff. You don't want to stand in that. I want to get a little closer. That's because I want to lower her resist a bit. And DPS just a tiny bit. Now, on one hand, if you haven't played this game before, you're probably like, this boss is just standing there. This boss, to me, is an ode to the Diablo 2 boss that does poison, just kind of sits there. But this one doesn't just sit there. This is phase 1. Kind of like the Krieg fight. Just got a couple phases to her. Not all bosses have phases. But some have phases that don't change them too much. We're going to see what her damage is like if I'm stealing from her. You don't want those little bugs on you too.
Can't do that yet.
body here just so I don't misclick it at a bad time. Now, when I kill her, she is going to get up and come deal with me. She's just spamming poison everywhere. Rather annoying. I say don't stand the green stuff, and you probably are like, well, what are you supposed to do? You don't have much of a chance to do anything else. Alright, I'm going to back off a second. I discussed before my offensive ability. Yeah, that's low. We're going to raise cunning just a bit here. That didn't really help much. Alright, it was mostly just to give me a little bit more offensive ability. I'm going to have to get that otherwise. Should be a lot better at this point. And it will be. It will be. We'll get there. Alright, so that's phase 1. Heal back up. Prepare for phase 2. Oh, you see, she got disconnected and she is ready. She's ready to fight. So just hit and run, hit and run. Without cooldowns, I can just smack her and go, smack her and go. Don't get hit by that. Maybe if she stands there and screams at you, you can go ahead and hit her 3 or 4 times in a row, just to stack some damage. Don't do that though, unless you're about to get hit by the meteor. That's a good time to hit that. You see those meteors raining down up there. She's about to do it here. Just stay out of those zones. Got that.
Can't do that yet.
Okay, good. I just clicked the wrong button. So she's gonna die soon. She only got 50,000 to go, and I'm doing about 3k every hit to her. Don't stand there. Yep, there they come. There we go. See? It's just kind of perseverance with her. Now she dropped her claw. This is good if you're doing, especially if you're doing like an Aegis of Min here, shield throw. But you have to go like acid style with that. But it is good to kind of buff that, give it some retaliation damage, which in a lot of games, retaliation damage, like in an ARPG, is pointless. It's stupid. There's no reason to ever do it. In Gundam, it works pretty decently. It used to be super OP, but they've since nerfed it. It's not as strong as it used to be, but it is still powerful. Doesn't seem too bad wormhole there. So in this cave, your instinct is probably to like drop a portal and warp out of it, right? Don't do that. Come to the doorway over here. This will send you back to the beginning of the cave. And this door is where you entered. Pop through here. And this way you don't have to run back out to like forever away to get to the amalgam. Or amalgamation. I think that's how I should be saying that. Down here, there's a save their scorched note. We'll just grab that, draw that on down. Then we're gonna hop through the lightning. And we got Aether guys to deal with. That's because the amalgamation is basically a big ethereal that they cobbled together to destroy everyone. And now what I said about these guys being space ghosts, if you read the lore in the game, that's essentially what they are. They basically, like, I'd basically say they were kind of like angelic energy beings that the gods wanted them to work for. Or, sorry, they wanted the ethereals to work for them. And they promised them all kinds of things. And made them get everything, like, kind of set up for humans. And then were like, nah, you can't have what the humans had. So they kind of like disappointed them there, but then they said, now you need to fight for us in our wars we're starting between the gods. And after they won, I believe they worked for the god Korvac, and after they won, they got sent to the Aether, which essentially robbed them of bodies and left them as just disembodied spirits. So, ghosts. And they're from space, because Aether's technically like in a different dimension that is not corporeal. And because humans were screwing around with ethereal or Aether magic, they learned how to open gateways to the Aether, and that way it allowed the Ethereals a method to escape. So essentially, humans, you know, as in most stories, as in real life, are their own worst enemy. And when I say Space Ghost Coast to Coast, it's kind of a play on the old show Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which was just like like a comedy cartoon. But it's a play on that because the Ethereals in this game, their greatest concentrations are right by the coast, where they invaded coastal cities so that they'd have an easier time invading others and kind of hiding their activities. You know, boat shows up, and you're like, hey, what's on this boat? And it's a bunch of Aether dudes. You may not know what to do about that. It's kind of crazy. Because it's already there, and you can't really get rid of it. So, it's a little bit like an alien invasion. So, yeah. Anyway, we leveled again. I actually thought we'd have to wait till we got to the quest turn-in to level. Now this area is an interesting bit of kind of visual storytelling. You can tell that like the big fleshwarp dudes in armor, they're these guys. And these guys are the Mistborn, which are kind of like the half-troll giant dudes that we kind of fought through earlier. So they are taking these half-troll giant dudes and turning them into ethereals. So they've taken over their bodies too. And they've done this with animals and such. Heck, they've done it with scarecrows, which seems really weird when you think about it. But they essentially are able to take over and control things that at least have bodies. So, yeah. When we walk up to the store, we're going to get a big surprise. Oh, hello, there he is. The Amalgamation. Now, this guy's not bad. He's going to start setting up these big geysers of Aether. Just stay away from those. Now, when he gets a red burst over his head, you just run away. Don't get sundered like I did. The last one's delayed. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And the thing is, like, the instinct is probably to, like, stop dodging. Or as that fourth one comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, like, oh, nope, 5. I honestly almost got hit by it because I was like, oh, it's just 4. But I fought him plenty of times. He's big and slow. You just kite and fall back. And when he does this thing, run him like a half moon. And there's the fourth, and just wait until he kind of gets all that out. Do not tank him unless you know what you're doing. I would say channel abilities might be bad on use to him. If he catches you in a corner and he starts doing this, you're going to have to run away. And you can dodge back the other way. Now I see it, they seem to have a kind of limited range too, so the further you are, the better it is. Oop. Okay, he has boosted his speed. And don't stand in the Aether Electricity. Remember, that drains maximum hit points, so it's not going to do damage, it's just going to weaken you. And when he sunders you, it's going to be even worse. Now you can run back and forth a little bit. But that might get you caught in a corner if you wait too long for the delayed one. When he stands still, just DPS him down. There we go. Not too bad. Try on that story. So the Deathbringer Raiment, I believe, is a Vitality armor. So this is good for us, but it converts Vitality to Aether. I think we got this last time.
My inventory is full.
And I was pretty much really disappointed with that. It doesn't work. This Pulsing Shard, he is guaranteed to drop this. This one came with pet bonuses, which is not typical. It's from Subjugators. And then of the Aether, so it's got really good Aether damage, and it helps Albric's Aether Ray, which is a particular ability that uses a lot of Aether. It's very good for that. It's like a kind of go-to leveling offhand for that particular skill, which is an Arcanist. Alright. So we're done here. Got everything we need. We head back to Homestead. And we're going to turn in various quests. So, we'll go talk to, what was his name, Duncan? Douglas. Cleared the fields. What is it? Oh yeah, I've already done it with the cane. this is stacking up everything. I'm getting the experience, got another inventory badge as well. And I say, what about Devil's Crossing? And he says, there's not much we can do. And that's because for them to do anything, you got to have Homestead up to Honored. And at that point, they say they can send food to Devil's Crossing because you helped them enough.
There was much. I see your reputation is well earned.
That.
The Legion
Good
thanks
chunk.
you for your service to the Emperor. My scouts have reported back from the lands to the north.
I'll rescue the prisoners. The next leg here, I got to be more careful going into. And I'm not going to be doing that yet. This guy's going to tell me I have to go speak to Ulgrim. This guy, if you're just below him, you can talk to him even though he's up there. This one, no such luck. Okay, so we're going to kind of get some housekeeping taken care of. Now, before we go out here, I like to have a pretty good amount of chaos resist. Our chaos resist is kind of poor, so we got to be mindful there. This is probably our best bet to fix that right now, right here and right now. So we got 48, which is good. We dropped our Aether, but that's okay. We're not going to see as many Aether enemies. We will see some. Our vitality is low. There are a couple ways to deal with that. Now, we go up here to Ulgrim.
Just the person there are
And
two
he
other
wants us
groups
to
of
talk to
survivors.
these emissaries. Now remember, we never took our second class. We're not a necromancer yet. So we go to this guy.
I have come to represent
He said,
Kaiman's
I think
Chosen.
I made my decision. Yeah. Black Legion's going to work with Kaiman's Chosen. And then, sure, I will seek out your enclave. Oh, I'm despised with the necromancers. Well, you know, I'm going to make them happy again. And we're going to become a necromancer. We're getting Bone Harvest. Bone Harvest has a 3-second recharge, so it takes that long to cool down. The weapon we have knocks off 1.5 seconds. 2 of them will knock off 3 seconds. All that stacks together, so it's super nice. We need to get up to 32 because we want Soul Harvest. So this skill is fairly unique. It has a lot of its own damage types, but it also gets a little bit of range from here, so we need 1 point in dread to get that range. And then it is good for damage, because it'll give vitality and vitality decay. The confuse target is one of the, in my opinion, if you're going to have a status effect you can deal to enemies, confuse is one of the better ones. Pretty much no status effects are going to work on bosses. You can't freeze them, you can't really stun them. There are ways to get around that, but they're very one-off and specific, so they don't really work very often. This skill, though, has a lot of main hand damage for a castable skill, so it uses your weapon. I think the intention was like for you to use like a two-handed weapon scythe to kind of get the most out of that. That may be the case. This skill, Soul Harvest, gives a bonus like buff when you hit something, or I think it's actually when you hit something with Bone Harvest. This activates, giving you a bunch of flat damage and percentage bonus. It goes to you and your pets. So this skill is can be good for pet builds just to invest in this for the buff. But because it gives a bunch of flat damage, that adds right into Bone Harvest. So it buffs itself. And I don't believe this costs much extra energy. So it's you want this up a little bit, and you want 1 point here, and as much as you can get of this before you raise the rest, just to control the energy cost. This point's interesting because it can help convert it to cold. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be doing any sort of cold conversion. So, to get started, we're going to double check. Kaiman's Chosen, we are friendly. Excellent. We want to be friendly with them. And we are going to start putting points here. I can only get there, right? We got all these points here to spend now. And we might end up backing this off. So we're going to go back to, go back to Devil's Crossing. And there's a character here. Now, if you do this later in the game, like if you are in the other expansions, before you go to Malmuth, there's an attack here, and this person, Sadhina, gets killed, and her character's not here anymore. You have to get to the Coven before you can find another character that can help you do this. Basically, we're going to sell back points. So we are done with Phantasmal Blades. So we're going to sell back all of our points. Every single one of them. We don't need them. Why is that not going down? Move it. Oh, the devotion.
Stay
Forgot
strong.
about that. So the texture devotion effect is Twin Fangs. So we're going to go no skill on that.
What troubles you?
Yep. Now, no more Phantasmal Braids.
Stay
Please.
strong.
So how many points did that give us? That gave us 18. Now I estimated 36 was where we needed to go to kind of even in both. And I'm not quite going to get there. It looks like we can hit 32. Yeah, 17. Okay. Now you're going to be like, Photius, what are you doing, man? You have no points to take Bone Harvest. I can start it. I can start Bone Harvest. And we can sell back a few other points that we have here.
Let me
And we're going to do
clear your
that.
mind of regrets.
I am going to drop this a bit. And I'm going to take these back off. Even though they're good for damage, I'll be adding them back on. But I need those points to start getting Bone Harvest up.
Stay strong.
Oop, wrong button. Necromancer. Now, we have Bone Harvest, and we're going to kind of show off a little bit of what it can do. Now, I may adjust it because the damage is not going to be very good. It's pretty bad right now. 288. So, it's an AoE skill with a cooldown. Oh man, that doesn't do very much. Except, if you notice, the damage jumps quite a bit because of its own buff effect. So it's doing 1,000. Now that's not as much of our blades, but it's respectable. There's nothing wrong with that for the limited amount of points we put into it. It's pretty decent. We are going to definitely want more points, more levels to get this a little higher.
I sense
So we're
turmoil
going to see if we
within
can
you.
get a little bit more out of it. I can probably go without. I don't want to reduce this because it's going to be some pierce resist. We are actually going to bring this down just a couple levels. Bring this down a bit. Probably back to 1. We're going to raise it back up later. We're kind of making some
Farewell.
concessions for now. And back to Necromancer, we are going to maybe put a couple more points so it gets more main hand damage to work with, as long as the energy cost isn't too high. Let's start there. And 2 more points in the back. And what do we got? 417. Not great, but something. Go back out here. We'll see what it outputs just as it is. Now it's a 3-second cooldown, and it's doing a little bit of damage. There you go. 1,723. Not great, but something. And this is going to help that cooldown quite a bit. So now it does even less damage, but it's a little quicker. Not too bad. Now in the meantime, we're probably going to just toss a shield on just to have something. Or maybe even a focus if we got one around. Fire Aether. I thought I picked up something that would be good for the short term. Because we are going to have to do a little bit of... See, this might work for real short term. It adds 2 to Bone Harvest. So that'll boost its level and boost its energy as well. Okay, gives more punch. I saw 2,000 there. It's a bit better. Now, we have to go back to Dead Man's Gulch? Yeah. Back to Dead Man's Gulch. We gotta find the weapon we're looking for. So, we gotta do this. This is not optional for what I'm doing here. I need another one. And this one's bad. If I can find a couple, 2, 3, something like that, to get a better one, that'd be great. I guess when I say this is bad, it's not the worst. Alacrity is not what we want, though. Cast speed would be great. So I think celerity is the good one there. So we are weaker now, but our resist are still okay. Our vitality resist isn't that great, but we may be able to sacrifice the energy on these now. Let me see what we can do. Alright. Okay, these guys are 33, and my damage is fine enough but it's a little slow. So, kind of up to you, but if you're doing this, you may want to get the weapons first and swap into them. I think this is more fun now, because it's a bit of a challenge when you get there. I'm doing enough damage, as you can see. So we're kind of back to enough. But our energy's holding fine. Cleared him out. He didn't get really anything there. We're looking for our boys, not the bugs. We don't want bugs. Ah, my cold. I've got the cold flash on the offhand. That's what froze him. I was like, what froze him? You guys, again, are fairly resistant to vitality. We're going to kind of fix that back up later. Alright, nothing dropped. We continue. Continue on. In the meantime, we're going to look for any items that could help us here. Chaos Resist is great. I believe there might be something that would work for the short term for Chaos Resist that we might throw in a weapon. Don't get surrounded by too much. It does do a nice little AoE, as you can see. Kind of goes through all the enemies. Now imagine if this were 3-second cooldown. It'd take forever. This guy. He just want to drop. He dropped a burn wall. He could have dropped what I needed. But yeah, we're a little slow going at the moment. But as like, if you're a fairly new player of the game, this is kind of what can happen sometimes. You're going to be kind of slow going through things like this when you're trying to put something together. You're trying to do it yourself. Okay, just gonna not be able to pull things out of the stash. We gotta jump in. So it's nice. I'm getting some good bursts through these dudes. Yep. I just need one to drop the weapon we need. And the funny thing is, like, later in the game, later difficulties, you're gonna see these things all the time. I'm just trying to do this early because it's real fun and real powerful. I didn't think it would be so powerful, and you'll see that eventually, but this is where it begins. It's nice to, I like playing through the game in the builds that I want to use throughout the game, because again, part of the journey of it is part of the fun for me. Getting to endgame and having your build be all sorted out, there is a part of me that it kind of takes the fun out of the game. Not completely, because like it's a progression thing, and you want to achieve, and you want to have something cool to be able to like farm stuff up for other characters. So it's important to like finish things and have a character that can like tear up the end game for you. But like, if you're playing Soldier and you're gonna play, let's say, Obsidian Juggernaut, which is a very particular weapon. I might rebuild that for one of these videos sometimes, because it's a lot of fun. But it's kind of similar to this in a way. So Obsidian Juggernaut's a weapon that gives you kind of a shockwave skill. Let's say you're going to play Cadence with Obsidian Juggernaut, and someone says, well, the best way to level Soldier is to use Force Wave. So you use Force Wave the whole time. For some people, that's fantastic, because they're like, I'll just use Force Wave, plow through levels, and when I get the Obsidian Juggernaut, it feels like a different build. Sure, you can do that. Or you might say, oh, well, I've been playing Force Waves for so long, I just like Force Wave. I'm just going to stay with that, and that's fine too. But, like, I feel like it takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Is that a bone side? It sure is. Decaying of Decay. I love how that stacks up. Alright, so we've already had some success. I might go through a couple more times. Alright. Yep, that's what we want. Okay, cool. Okay, I gotta get this guy out of the way. He's just being annoying. I don't want him to hit me while I'm trying to get this done. Alright, so we pop this on. Oh, I forgot a key part of this formula. So, here's the thing. I need this. I need it. Not be nice to have. I need it. The reason being, you can't just dual wield. I think I've explained this before. So, I overlooked that. We're going to pop back. I'm going to probably sell some stuff too. Get that all cleared out. I'm almost about the
What
level.
troubles
That
you?
would I could have just gained the level. Look at that, 138 off. That's pretty funny. Do I have a
Safe
book I
journey.
could read? No, of course not.
Let me
Alright, we're
clear
just
your
going to do
mind
it,
of
because I want to get it
regrets.
done. I'll pop the point out of
Farewell.
there. It's fine. Our piercing's okay. And the point has to go here. Why? It'll help this recharge more, which is nice. It'll be a heal we can use more often. Increases health regen, which is also nice. But the biggest part is this is a melee dual wielding technique. Also enables the ability to dual wield melee weapons. They're in the yellow text. Now I can dual wield. And now I can show off what this looks like. It's going to be slow because my cast speed's bad. But again, it's early game. But here is what this looks like. I can just spam this now. It's fully cast speed enabled. Now, it reduced the damage of it, but my damage per second is actually pretty high. It actually does pretty good damage, and it's quick enough that now it's kind of like throwing blades we had, but it hits an AoE instead. The throwing blades are more of a projectile, and these are more like a shockwave. Oh, hello. Some guys to test it against. And look at that, we just run them over completely. This is what partially makes the Confuse on it so powerful too. It's like, these normal enemies that aren't immune to the status effects, that are more likely to just swarm you, they're going to get confused by this, man. It's just going to be all confusing to them. Now, another thing is, you're going to be wondering too, like, why did I wait so long to do this? This would have been great to have earlier. Look at this, I'm just chewing them up now. And I can just stand here and do it, and what are they going to do to me? Absolutely nothing. The reason I had to wait for Kaiman's Chosen is there's a helmet. We can only get it one way, and that's by working with Kaiman's group. Although, I'd take that back. You probably can get it from Shattered Realms, but I didn't want to do all that. I didn't want to wait. So, if you work with Kaiman's group, you get to take out the Necromancers, right? The Necromancers are these boys, Order of Death's Vigil. So the Necromancers don't like you working for Kaiman, and you go in there and kill them, and they drop some of the better Necromancer gear. It's very strange, including a helmet that gives extra range. I think it might actually give extra weapon damage too, to Bone Harvest. So it makes this stronger even. And that is what we want on the build. I want the strongest weapon, the strongest things for Bone Harvest that help us out. And you can't get that if you're Necromancer, because Kaiman won't be friends with you. But you can't get Bone Harvest without being a Necromancer. So you wait until you become a follower of Kaiman, and then you say, oh, you know what, I think I'd like to dabble in Necromancy. Which will make them angry, but won't make them abandon you. And you can still go around and kill Necromancers in the name of Kaiman. You know, because they're the wrong type of Necromancers. It's pretty much this build is hypocrisy. That's what this build is. A big old hypocrite who says, well, I'm not summoning anything. I'm not really a Necromancer. Just mowing people down with waves of bone. Also, criticism right now is like, are you really doing that much damage? Was this really worth it? I mean, in a way. So that eats a lot of energy, but we're gonna stack points right here. Well, I'm gonna put 1 point there. I do need these two. Spectral Binding is just a amazing skill. Now we don't really use the Aether damage, but the Aether damage, flat damage, if that's converted later, I think it is a little bit in the build, but you get health, flat health, and offensive ability. It's just fantastic. Gives you good stats that you need. We're gonna just come through here. Right. Was there somebody? Yes. Oh, you don't have a. He doesn't have a side though. I don't think they're gonna drop anything I need. Sorry, just trying to find other items. Okay, so I got one, and Decaying of Decay is funny, but it gives more vitality damage than this one, so it's not too bad. They're both level 24, so that's not too bad. What I'm going to do here is I do have these to start with. That's probably enough to continue, but I want to be a little greedy, so I'm going to like pause the video, reset, come right back to this cave, and we're gonna run it back one more time. And then we'll see what happens from there. So, be right back. Okay, we're back. So, I'm going to head right back to Deadman's Gulch. We're going to go back in the cave. Now, Grim Dawn, when you reset the instance, the good thing about that is it's going to reset all the creatures in there. So, there'll be different creatures, different spawns, different methods of moving around because the blockage positions will change. So that makes it feel a little bit more random. Even though the map itself is set. The way you have to move through it's a little different. That tends to work pretty well. Now we're back in here. These guys also, there's a level cap in normal these guys can move into, so these guys will get closer to the level cap. So like he's 34 now. In normal, enemies do not scale all the way up in all areas of the game. There's a few areas of the game that they do. They certainly do scale all the way up to level 100. But in the early areas of the game, they do not scale all the way to 100. And we are utilizing this for the short term, just to try to get some items that we can work with. This is a decent little helmet. Energy, pierce, poison, aether. Not bad. I use little aether resist, but that might be worthwhile. Okay. And at this point, I would have gotten friendly with Homestead. Okay, well, I probably don't have anything available with Homestead. I'm still gonna kind of run through things for a while. Let's see here. Okay, this guy's back. Remember, he freezes. So since we're able to kind of just stand and cast a little bit more, you guys are done. On one hand, this is a bit of a waste of time. I wish I hadn't come across him. But you can find that one guy's sister's body again. Everybody likes that, right? Oh, I just love freezing. Why not? Just kind of see what we can do. So hopefully you notice I'm just not going through anything quite as fast. And you see how quick I can heal myself now. That's from the dual wield thing. I'm dual wielding, but I'm not like using it as the game would have me use it. Yeah, you don't quite do enough damage I would like with Bone Harvest. Only 4,000 DPS now. It's like I think I'm starting to catch back up to where the knives were, which is pretty good considering I'm investing in all kinds of stuff across the grid now. Alright, let's see. Anything useful here? Those have Aether and Elemental. Those are better than my pants in about every way. I lose some move speed, but I don't think that matters. Nah, I'm all over on move speed. So I can use these at 36, so that's good. I've got that to work with. That chest gives chaos, but it's not the right kind of chaos that we're looking for. So we're gonna go this way. Now this is kind of a little level grinding, which I don't want to do and use as a crutch, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna try to see if I can get one more. That guy has a scythe. got, nope, he doesn't have the right one. Oh, he didn't drop any. There's Bone Spike. Don't have any use of that. And, okay, that's good. There's a star guy down there. He could potentially drop something. So we might go around the corner and fight him. He's going to be under this bridge, though. So one thing you got to watch out with on Bone Harvest is elevation. I wonder if I can show it off right here. So this goes up a little bit, so that's fine. Really? 3 of you guys? Oh my gosh. That is going to be way too much for them to deal with. They are slowing me a lot when I get to a different angle. What have they done? Oh, there's some skill disruption going on there. Alright, very nice. That's a Bone Spike. Just trying to clear these guys out. They are slowing it all down. But, you know, they're good for experience, so why not? And Plate Hardness of Decay. Not bad. I wish I could use it. I don't think I should, though. I gotta make sure I keep getting the things that I actually need. Well, we can't use shields. We're double blading it. So there's a bunch of guys running off from me. There's a Bone Spike there. That guy is a caster. Bummer. I thought he was a guy with a claw. So, the thing about some of the targeting skills in this game, if I get too close to that ledge, the game's going to get a little confused. Because unfortunately, this game is built off of Titan Quest engine. As far as I can tell, it's basically a fully tricked out version of Titan Quest's engine, if I say that correctly. And there are some quirks to it, because in that day and age, building a little ledge over top of where a character was, like true 3D, wasn't really done in ARPGs. I don't think Titan Quest was the first. I'm sure another one did it prior. Diablo 2 claimed to have done it, but they did not. Everything was still kind of like two-dimensional, in that you couldn't go on a ledge that was above another location you couldn't run under. They kind of claimed at the time that it would be like that, but they didn't. Blizzard didn't quite get there. All right, well, no more guys here. Just some spiders. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get it. I don't know. I haven't searched all this yet. But this one was one of the Titan. Sorry, not this one. Titan Quest was one of the first ones to actually do it with their engine, to where you could go over and above ledges. Now, it didn't really make a difference in Titan Quest very much. Grim Dawn makes really good use of it, though. In some cases, they'll hide things using that, because people won't expect that they can go kind of under a ledge that they walked over previously, because it looks like it's blocked on the other side, when it's actually not. If you spin the camera, like twist the camera around like this, you can see other places that you can go. Like, if you look for them, you'll find other places that you can go. But it just wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't something that you would normally see in games like this. So it just didn't get utilized as much. They made a good way of utilizing it, because sometimes you will find things that you didn't think you would find in this game, that like you don't expect to be there. And it's kind of a nice thing to have a little like actual discovery of like walking off map, off the beaten path. So, Bozeman's Folly. So we got that. Huh. Dangers and not deeps are overblown. Yep. There's nothing dangerous in here. Not to me. And I just think it's cool that they took an engine that could do that in its day and age, when nobody else was really doing it, and push it to 11 and make a game like this in our day and age that it definitely shows its age. I'll give it that. Definitely shows its age, but it also shows like how much potential that engine had in that day and age. and that the build system of Titan Quest is actually pretty solid. Choosing two classes to make something new out of the whole thing for your character was pretty novel at the time. I mean, Diablo 2, sure, you could choose between your different skills and things like this, but you couldn't be a barbarian rogue. You couldn't be like a barbarian Amazon and do both. You had to choose one or the other. And it's pretty cool too. There's a great mod for Grim Dawn. I forget what it's called. Something of Terror. Anyway, it's basically a full conversion of Grim Dawn to Diablo 2. And it's a mod, and it has its limitations, of course. But they do a pretty good job of bringing in Diablo 2 classes and items and things like that. And it has the treatment where you can be a single class, or you can be two classes. You can be a barbarian sorceress, for example, and use all kinds of cold magic, and it works really well. Like, it's really cool to say, hey, I'm going to make a paladin Amazon and do these two crazy things together, like lightning aura with lightning javelins and things like that. It's pretty cool, and it just kind of breathes new life into both games that way. Alright, so we didn't find what we wanted. That's too bad, but it'll be easier to search for. We might come back out here in Elite and try to search for it. I don't know how, if I'm going to do Elite or just go through Ultimate. It kind of depends. Anyway, there's a few things we haven't done yet that I wanted to do before we continue on. Checking resists. Chaos is getting there. Aether's getting there. We should think of some items to put on our weapons here, some components. I'm going to go check some while I sell things. We don't need this. Alright. I put up a new portal. Alright. The reason I'm going to Devil's Crossing is the lady here can tear things off gear. So I'm going here just to check on what components we can use. So
Best I can with what I've got.
Chaos Resist. I'm pretty sure you can get this component early. I don't think it requires anything special. It's imbued silver. I say that, and it might be something sold to Devil's Crossing. Let me see.
Give you a good price on what I've got left.
Rotten Heart, Focusing Prism, Aether Soul, Pencilers, Silver Core Bolts. Do they take? They take imbued silver. So I think it is something you can make. The reason I brought it up, because imbued silver has this effect. It's like an aura that gives you 20% chaos resist and more maximum. It also gives some bleeding resist and damage to chthonics, which is going to be nice coming up. This can be used in all weapons, shield, caster, offhand items. So we've got 33 crystals. We got a green crystal. We got a scavenge plating. We're good. We're going to make an imbued silver. This will help immediately with our chaos concerns. So we got that R on, so we're up to 68. That's enough to work with for time being. And then this weapon here, this King Bonespike, Scythe of Alacrity. I think I want some more vitality damage. And Hollow Fangs are good for this. And also do Haunted Steel. I don't think I'm going to go up to Haunted Steel right now, although it is better in all ways than Hollowed Fang. Let me check. Have I found 3 chthonic seals? We have not, because we're not really at that area of the game. I think the Haunted Steel you have to actually get from a certain faction. So we're going to do the Hollowed Fang for now. So it takes one of these, and one of these, and 3 crystals. So we're going to make that. What the heck happened? I like right-clicked it. I'm going to put that here. Don't exactly know what happened the first time. So this one gave an aura. This one gives an activatable ability, Blood Drinker. When we turn this on, it gives us a bunch of bleeding damage and 20% of attack damage converted to health. Because Bone Harvest does main hand damage, we are going to steal 20% of that listed damage as health. So that goes up to about 500. That's roughly like 80 to 100 per hit we can steal when that's turned on. So that'll give us a big boost to survivability if we're fighting something that we have no choice but to stand in front of. And in general, we've got more damage. Because this does give both flat vitality decay, which Bone Harvest can use, and vitality damage and decay. This also grants more lifesteal and converts physical damage. These weapons do physical damage, so converting them to vitality is good. That's like normally, but if you look, Bone Harvest's physical damage always gets converted to vitality anyway. So what's Bone Harvest doing? It is vitality, aether, because that's not getting converted, and vitality decay. That's it. The funny thing about this is Bone Harvest has piercing damage, but piercing damage is like a subtype of physical damage. It's really weird. Basically piercing is like physical getting 100% converted into piercing, but if there's any other physical conversion, it takes that away from piercing. I don't know, but that's usually like on weapons that are converting it, because it's a weird interaction there. I think what we're looking at is actually happening here is the piercing. You see on the weapon near the top, 59% piercing converted vitality, and this one's 55% piercing. So I'm mistaken. It's that those two together are over 100%, so all the piercing is getting converted. So, but the weapon damage from the weapons is physical. The piercing is getting converted, and the other physical would get converted. And yeah, the other physicals, those are global effects that affect everything. So we've got some other components on now. We're mostly filled up. The one harsh thing is vitality. So I'm going to make a judgment call here. We're going to take one of the ectoplasms off. So in the salvage lady here, we're going to do this. We're going to keep the item. That'll keep our ring. We are going to use... I had one. Where is that purple crystal at? Well, I thought I had one. Maybe I do, and I'm overlooking it. I'm glad we're using the Unholy Inscription now. Okay, there's an Ancient Heart. Ah, there's a Soul Shard. So this gives Vitality Decay and damage. That's good for us. One with Energy Absorbed from enemy spells. That can come in handy. The big one is the 20% Vitality Resist just on a ring. So it gets up to 50. So our resists are looking pretty decent. We could use some better gear here and there. I need to do these quests. Yeah, we're gonna do this. So that gets a little experience. This opens up a new effect for the lady where she can do Dismantle, where you can spend dynamite to blow up an item and get like bonuses from it. We are not going to do any of that really. Early game, it's certainly a waste of dynamite. These pants would be pretty handy. Yeah, they give pretty good stats. I could use that offensive ability. We are going to start trashing some things though. This bow served us well. We have no need of it. And no Deathbringer raiments. Nope. No Devil's Grand. We're not using shields. And we're going to sell these. The helmet. No, I need more Pierce Acid, not less. Not less. Get rid of that. Nope. That's old armor. Okay. And this is kind of where I clear out this other stuff. Yep. I probably should have used that offhand earlier, but it doesn't matter. No, we're gonna get rid of these. That's got Pierce and Vitality. That's oh wow. Was I waiting to use this? I think I was. Yeah, let's go with that, because it gives us a lot more Vitality Resist. The reason we lost the poison has to do with the belt having that component on it. So we're going to get that component back. That's not the right one. Salvage. Keep that on. We're going to keep this. We don't. That belt seemed all that great. It's not. It's not really. Don't worry about stuff like that.
I'll give you a good price.
Not that big of a
on what
deal.
I've got left.
Oh yeah, we have a couple things we can go back and do. So we might do all those things now. No. The helmet. I don't think we're going to use that. I'm more likely to use a Chaos Helmet. See, this is a good option because my bleeding is really, really high. So this would give us chaos, poison, but we lose 20% aether, and it's already really low. So that's tempting, but it feels like a big loss if we do that. And this just gives chaos. Let's get rid of that and that. And the Scourge Slicer. We're gonna keep that. Keep that. Alright. So now I'm just kind of clearing out gear stuff, making sure I don't want any of this. Pierce, poison, and aether. That's a little tempting. It's got good armor. Nope. Nope. Nope, nope. Pierce and aether. Oh, almost losing that vitality might be okay, but piercing isn't quite all the way up there. But this will give some aether back. It converts vitality though. We don't want to do that. Okay. See, some of the judgment of these items can be a little tricky if you're not sure exactly what to do with it. So that's kind of an option. No, forget it. Forget it. Let's try to get through this quickly. So there's a component we can get from armor to like help with vitality if we want. There's components we can make that would help with like aether as well. Not sure we're gonna go that. That is a bone harvest ring. What would we lose? Huh. That is a very tempting ring to use right now. I don't want either of those though. The hat's a maybe. Nope. That's a big maybe. Either one of those could be okay. I don't want that. And no. No. Let's get good chaos resist. My elementals are high enough that that's good. Kind of. Like 39 health return per second is really not bad. He's an experience gain. Use pierce resist. That's I don't know. I'm gonna sell that. And pants we can keep. Because they're a little nudge better than ours. And these are at least, there might be something we can use with those. Pop all that there. Yeah, my organization is pretty awful right now. However, it is what it is. And you just have to deal with it. Okay. Anything we can use here? No, not really. I can make a higher level ribbon. It'd be kind of iffy. I think we may just go ahead. I don't like the 40% aether resist, but it is what it
Do
is.
the best I can with what I've got.
Ranger. So the Ranger badge is level 22. It has higher, or like, sorry, increased levels of those resists and health. We can get one because we've got the components to make one. Let's make one. So this is vitality, elemental, bleeding, pierce, defensive ability, and health. I don't know. I think I prefer this one to that. It feels like you're losing a ton of resist. It's more of that gives me the resist I need right now, and the offensive ability and health regen are super nice. This one's kind of ho-hum. The pet bonuses more or less ruin it. So
Bring me back any
not great.
blueprint.
Alright, I think we are going to move on. We're going to go to a certain location. Let me check my dynamite. I got 5. I got plenty. So we're going to head for Pine Barrens, because I did not get the Devotion Shrine there, so I'm going to go get it. So you go to Prospector's Trail. And we'll have to fight through some enemies here. Shouldn't be a problem. And as we gain levels, this is going to get less and less problematic. So our energy is holding up fine. If anything, I need more damage coming in. Bunch of these type enemies. everywhere all over the place. I probably could afford a couple more levels in Bone Harvest, as far as energy costs are concerned. See, it's not quite as far as the blades reached. So I need to get down there and blow that up. It'd be funny if I could talk to it from here, but I can't. Because there's several quests down there I can do in pretty quick succession. So we're going to do those. I think after we do those quests, I'm going to call it, because I feel like I've taken a lot of time in this particular video. I don't want to go too long. But thanks for bearing with me. It took long enough to get the Bone Harvest going on, and I know right now it doesn't look like it's all that special. That maybe you're like, well, the blades were cooler and they seem like they're a little bit better for vitality. No, this is really good. You'll see. You shall see. And then you might be like, no, I see how it works. It looks really good, actually. And I'll be like, you're wrong. It's kind of iffy right now. It needs a couple more levels to really get it going. Then I need to really push to get up to the elite skill so I get the most out of it and get the resist reductions up. Part of what we're looking at. This also, this area is good for 2 devotion points. That's really important right now. There is a particular thing I can get from devotion points fairly soon. It will steal energy. So pretty much, if I'm going constantly with this, yeah, it does run down a bit. Okay. Not who I wanted to see. These are not the friends that we wanted to talk to. So these things are cool because, like, the Briar Thorn skill from Shaman basically summons those guys. They're like Briar Thorn type enemies. This guy's reflective. Impressive. Impressive damage already you got there. Yeah, reflection's not too bad early on, especially with this. I've got like quite good lifesteal. Where's my lifesteal looking at? Yeah, he's hitting me, it's fine. 11% to 16%. Interesting. Look how much life I steal. That guy was knocking down my health. He was threatening my perfect I haven't died yet. Which I should never have said that, because now I'm doomed. Now I will certainly fail because I tested fate. But he was threatening, and I just tore him up anyway. Gained all my life back without using a heal. And I do have a heal I can still use, so the build theoretically can take a whole bunch of damage. Now we're going to talk to these guys, exploring the area. They're going to give us a couple quests. That's the only one I'm worried about is Morgara. She drops a great little item for early soldier builds, I believe. Might even be wardens, specifically. I can't recall if it adds anything to Mogrikins. I believe it adds raw damage to something. So a fun style, if you've ever tried it, is like a Warcry caster. Warcry is a soldier ability that does a shockwave around you. It's basically a debuff skill, and on its surface, it reduces enemy life, but by quite a bit, like 33%. So at first you're like, oh, this does a ton of damage, but bosses are pretty much immune to life reduction. And that's because if you had enough life reduction, you could just tear down a boss in a few seconds, right? Reduce 33% of a boss's life and just like knock a couple million off of them every time you shout at them. That seems ridiculous. So they can't really let you do that. But Warcry has a number of MIs and things you can add to it that actually give it damage or give it something else like weapon damage to basically hand you damage on it. And its mechanics, it's just this big shockwave that auto hits everything around you. When I say everything around you, it does not have to be next to you. It does not have to be in the same room as you. It is wherever that AoE reaches, it hits. So, I have, like, for example, I have a build that there's 2 items in the game that add a bunch of bleeding damage to Warcry. So you can yell at enemies and they will bleed to death and die. You don't even have to be in the same room as them. It's quite safe, and because it's damage over time, it's pretty easy to just proc it onto a boss, turn it on, make them bleed, and then run away while they slowly die from it. And you're like super safe the whole time. And when your duration starts to come back, you can use it again, and the benefits are that you're going to get a higher bleed, potentially, that does even more to them next time around. Because a higher damage over time will replace a lower damage over time in this game, especially from the same skill. It's kind of a given. Alright. We got our Manticore Poison, which is important. These guys are just going to keep going. So that's kind of why I need a little bit of the energy steal. A group like this, if I had stolen a bunch of energy back, like a couple hundred, it would help a lot with just maintaining this. We gotta get used to the bony sound going off all the time, and the shockwave. Okay, Margara is up here. Am I saying that right? Let me see. Let's see what her name is. I would test if I could tank her, but I'm doing well enough that I don't know if I should push my luck. She sunders and can do a lot of damage, but it's hard to say. In normal, even in veteran, enemies really aren't that crazy. There's a few exceptions early on, but like, not anything to truly worry about. Going. Is there. There she is. I might just avoid her sunder and then just unleash on her. So this is a good time to turn this on, try to do as much damage as possible. You just gotta watch the timing of it. So she sundered me. So she's hitting me hard. I'm gonna run away because she nearly killed me there. Another attack, if she sunders you, you could just hit your skill to prevent all damage for a moment. And just try to wait it out. I'm holding my heal right now, just in case. Let's just wait that out for a second. Almost done. Quest complete. There we go. So this has cast speed, chaos resistance. Mine has better chaos resistance, but it gives, you see the 1 skills and soldier, and 89 physical damage to monster against pack. Yep, like I was saying, that's perfect for warder early, just to give them a bunch of damage. Very nice. So we got those done. We got a level. So with our level, we are going to go ahead and raise Blood and Harvest one more point. Pop 2 here, because we want to get this nice and comfortable to use. Like, make sure it's killing things, make sure it's sustainable. You can probably already see the difference here. Like, it's already feeling better. It is using more energy, but it has got a lot more punch, and if it's got more punch, that's less overall energy I can use to kill things. But you also don't want to use too much energy to kill things. Like, way too much that you one-shot everything. And keep that under control. But enemies are starting to get launched all over the place by it. That's a good sign. We always love enemies getting launched everywhere. Good sign of how much damage it's capable of. So we're going to run under here. Now we are looking for Blood Virus Cave. This is a little tricky to find, especially if you like... So you get the quest from these guys back up here, right? But his cave is unmarked. They don't say anything about that. They probably say something about, well, you can't find them. Can you try to find them for us? You gotta look around. Like, you literally have to look around for his cave. And we're gonna find it. We just gotta look. But there's little things to find. There's enemies to fight. It's not too bad. These big guys are probably the most dangerous enemy out here. Like, if there's 2 or 3 of them, you want to kite them. One's not that bad, not the worst. And we're looking around. See if we can see the cave. So you're looking, like, these rocks, the cave could be potentially there. If you check Grim Tools, you can actually find the very specific locations the cave can be, but to my knowledge, it's randomized each time. So it might not be in the same place 2 times. Now this cave, that's a cave, but it's marked. Now if it's marked, there is something for me to do in there, but it is not, in this particular one, there's something for me to do in there, but it's not Bloodbriar's cave. It's not what I'm looking for. I will come out of a cave like that, though. Like, I'll come out of one of the marked ones when we're done with Bloodbriar. Ah, see this? Cave right here. Is there anything marked on the map? Not like this one. So we go in here. This is Bloodbriar's cave. Bloodbriar's lair. There we are. And we're going to have to fight through a bunch of his cronies. Now, as I recall, I don't know about veteran, but at very least it's just standard, like normal. Bloodbriar is not really a big deal at this point in the game. And any enemy can be a big deal, but he does bleeding damage. Like physical and bleeding. We have a lot of bleeding resist. We're not going to have any problem, even if he reduces our resist somewhat. Because we'll still be maxed out. Yeah, it has been a long day, so when we get Bloodbriar done and we get our 2 devotion points out here, we collect all the experience, I think we're going to call it, because on the devotion grid, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 to get Wendigo's mark, and we are on our way. Then I gotta put those points back in the other skills. That'll take some time. So this guy up here, he's a regenerator. We definitely want to kill him before we fight Bloodbriar, if at all possible. I popped my damage thing, just to try to get him down, so he's not healing Bloodbriar as we're doing this fight. And there's another guy here, his little boss. He's dead too. Frigid Quillbreath is kind of an interesting blue. I'm not going to use it, just do that. This is Bloodbriar. The old Bloodbriar. Old Bloodbriar. I said it wrong like 4 times. So we're gonna work on clearing him. So you see how my health is reacting, because he's bleeding me, so I'm losing lots of health, but I'm gaining lots back. It's just, this is just, gotta fight it out. Go 1-to-1 with him. I don't know if other difficulties he has Asunder, he does not at this point in the game. At the very least. Even though that attack with the little spine shooting everywhere, there's another boss that actually is Asunder for. So Bloodbriar's amulet is good for blitz. It takes off another 0.9 seconds. With this, the shield, and the helmet, you'd have 2 seconds off blitz, which I believe is like a 3-second cooldown, maybe 3.5 seconds. So it comes up a lot more often. And because blitz hits AoE and tends to do enormous amounts of damage, it's kind of just funny to dash, blow up a group, and then you can travel between pretty quickly. And if there's more room to walk, you just walk until you see somebody and dash into them and start all over. Now, I dropped this in this other cave. The main reason we want to be here is I do think we need to kill the boss, little boss in here, but we want that devotion point too. help us in our goals and goals. Now, next time, since I'm almost finished with this portion here, next time I will probably go to the skeleton caves, because we did not clear them, and I think we're going to want stuff from, like, Kilcairn, or Kilrian? I forget his name. But he's a skeleton down there. He has a unique situation about him. So he's one of the few enemies that has a very particular, like, I could call it an MI, but it's a component that only he drops. Nobody else drops this. So you have to go to him to get it, kill him. And again, you can reset things, so you can go back and, you know, take him out. This spider, the spider always comes up here. Be careful, there's a good bit of damage. Don't be afraid to just line back up so you can hit everything with an AoE. The less enemies you have to deal with, the easier it's going to be. Just heal your energy and health. Watch your health. If you have heal, you really heal and attack. So we're just kind of face tanking this character now. We hit the lifesteal, and it came back up because it's just going to help us tank longer. And then Goliax dropped this. That has Pierce, Poison, Elemental, Reduce Entrapment. Ooh, that's going to be really, really hard to pass up. And we're probably going to sneak a point into Ill Omen at some point, which will give negative Vitality resist. That's super tempting. But then I have 14 Chaos resist to make up. I don't know, though. It also converts fire to Vitality. That's pretty crazy. And these boots will give us acid resist, and that's really good because our acid resist is a little low, and the bleeding, which is one of the main resists that this gives, is really quite high. Alright, good. I need to grab your devotion shrine up here. What are we doing with our boots? Alright. There we go. We got all this. Now, it may seem to you that we're done and we can just warp out of here. Don't want to warp out of here. First of all, we don't get this. That extra total speed is going to be real handy for casting faster. So I have to keep an eye on my energy very closely now. We're just making our way out of this cave. I could go back the way I wanted. I just wanted to get some experiences ahead out. Bone Harvest, you can tell it excels in these groups, but it's actually reasonably powerful all on its own. I haven't had any train issues with it. Anyway, let's go out here. Alright, so we're back out. We actually popped out of that one. Go to the right wall and hug it and move your way up. Of course, kill anything that, you know, wants to interrupt your day. Moving. There's a big lag spike there. Not sure why. It's when you can tear up groups like that. It starts getting really fun. We're looking for an exit on the right side. Don't care about these little caves. They don't matter. Get the experience you can. Go around the corner. Now we're heading out to Tyrant's Hold. Now there is a little area over here that could be fairly useful if you're trying to farm Dill's Crossing experience, just to have some better things to fight than to do the silly little quests that they offer. But we just want... Oops, sorry. Excuse me. We just want this devotion shrine here. And you may ask what this is. This is, I believe this is someone who was like a supporter of the game, but may have passed away during that process. Let's see. Pierce and bleeding. Okay. There, and yep, nothing real good there, but that's okay. We've got the devotion point, which we'll put here if we get 10 less damage for beasts, 6% health. Next one's going to give a bunch of vitality decay. Last one is Wendigo's Mark. Oh, You know what? This whole time, I could have had Twin Fangs with Bone Harvest. We're going to get rid of that pretty soon, though, I believe. We basically need to open up Revenant here, and we need 8 red. This will give us 2, and we're going to have to pop a red there. So we're actually quite close to what we need. Quite close indeed. Alright, got that. Okay, so we are good on our weapons for the time being. I may decide to make one more run through the cave to try to find another one before all said and done with it. If I get a level 41, that would be pretty nice, which I'm pretty likely to get now as we're approaching that level. But we've got a Bone Harvest that is completely spammable. It doesn't need all their energy. Has 5,000 DPS. This is, I haven't hit anything, so let's see. I did get the boost from it. Okay. Because I hit something, I got Soul Harvest. So that shows our damage is pretty nice with Bone Harvest. See, it jumps up there and all that weapon damage. So pretty nice Vitality Blast on Bone Harvest. We just have to fix our stats and stuff now. And we are in good shape to continue through the game. Thanks for joining me tonight, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Take care.